Hello. Today's video is about the future perfect tense in English. The future perfect tense is also called the past in the future. It can be quite a confusing tense because it's past and it's future at the same time. Hopefully, through today's video, you will be able to understand it a little bit better. So, the future perfect tense, the construction is not too difficult. It's made by using will, the modal verb will, plus have, plus the past participle of the main verb. So will, over here, this one indicates the future. The modal verb will shows that you're talking about the future. The word have, the verb have, will always be have because it comes after the modal. It doesn't change to has or had or anything. It's always will, always have, and then the past participle. And have with the past participle shows that it's a perfect tense. And you've probably studied before the present perfect tense and possibly the past perfect tense as well. So you'll know that the perfect tenses are talking about actions completed at an unspecified time before now, and they focus on results and progress rather than the action itself. So that's something you should try to remember through this video. The perfect tenses are focusing on the results of actions completed at an unspecified time. Now that probably was a bit confusing, so let's look at some examples. First of all, first example, we will have prepared dinner when you arrive. We will have prepared dinner when you arrive. The shop will have closed when we get there. The shop will have closed when we get there. I will have graduated university by July. I will have graduated university by July. Now, when we're speaking, we often use contractions and say them a bit faster, like this. So the first sentence here, will have. Will have means we will have. So will have prepared dinner when you arrive. Will have prepared dinner when you arrive. And the next sentence, the shop'll have closed. So shop will have closed. The shop'll have closed when we get there. These contractions are used when speaking. You wouldn't write it like this, but I'm just showing you this to help you recognize the future perfect when you're listening to native speakers saying it quickly. So once more, we'll have prepared dinner when you arrive. The shop will have closed when we get there. Okay, so that's the construction of the future perfect, but what about the meaning and the usage? Well, future perfect is used to talk about an action that will be completed at a specified time in the future. So this is the slightly confusing bit. We're talking about an action that we're not specifying when the action is completed, but we're saying that it will be completed by a specified time. So, for example, we're going on holiday for a week. When we come home, our goldfish will have died. So here we're talking about a specific time, a specified time in the future, which is when we come home after a week. The action of dying will have been completed sometime between now and then. So that's why it's kind of known as the past in the future, because we're talking about a future time, which is when we come home, and the action, which is now in the future, but at the time we're talking about, when we come home, the goldfish dying will be in the past by then. Okay, so you might still be a bit confused, but keep watching. I promise it will become clearer, because I'm going to compare now the future perfect tense with the future simple tense to show you the difference. So first, I'm going to show you an example of a future simple sentence. Our goldfish will die when we get home. So in this sentence right now, the goldfish is alive, and we're going on holiday, and then we're going to come home, and when we come home, the goldfish will die. So the goldfish will be fine while we're away. There will be no problems. But when we come home, at that point, the goldfish will die. I think the goldfish really doesn't like us because just looking at us makes that goldfish die. So, yeah, could happen. Some goldfish are like that. Now let's compare that with a sentence in the future perfect. Our goldfish will have died when we get home. So again, right now the goldfish is alive. And then at some point in the future, we will get home. But when that happens, the goldfish will already be dead. When did the goldfish die? Well, it was some time between now and when we come home, which will be in the future. We don't know exactly when the goldfish dies, but we know that when we get home, the goldfish will already be dead. Okay, so let's look at it a slightly different way now. Let's compare again the future simple, the future perfect. So in the future simple, we say, our goldfish will die when we come home. So in this sentence, what's the current situation of the goldfish? Is it alive or dead? It's alive. In this sentence, the future simple sentence, what's the goldfish situation while we're away on holiday? Is it alive or dead? Well, it's still alive. Still alive. So when will the goldfish die? The goldfish will die when we come home. Now, let's compare that with the future perfect. Our goldfish will have died when we come home. In this sentence, what's the current situation of the goldfish right now? That's right, still alive. Yeah. What's the goldfish situation while we are away? Well, in this case, the goldfish will die while we're away. When will the goldfish die? Well, we know that it will die while we are away, but exactly when will it die? We don't know. We don't know, or we don't specify, we don't talk about the exact time when the goldfish dies. However, we know it's sometime between now and when we come back. Our goldfish will have died when we come home. So, with the future simple, we focus on an action that will happen in the future. The focus is on that action. However, with the future perfect, we focus on the result of an action that will happen between now and a future time. So the action itself, when it happens, how it happens, is not the focus of this sentence. The focus is on the result, which is that the goldfish will be dead, and it will probably smell quite bad, and we will probably have to throw it in the bin, and then we'll have to buy a new goldfish, which is expensive, and I don't like spending money. So we're focusing there on the result of the action. Okay, so negative sentences, we just need to change will to won't. For example, the goldfish won't be alive when we get home. Sorry to keep talking about dead goldfish. I'll change the subject now, I promise. I won't have prepared dinner when you get here, so cook it yourself. He won't have finished the work by tomorrow. Now on to questions. For questions, we change the subject and the verb, change the order of the subject and the verb. So in a statement, he will have completed it by the end of the week. But a question, will he have completed it by the end of the week? And a question mark at the end. We can also use a question word, who, what, how, when, where, why. When will he have completed it? Right. Finally, I've got some more examples which might help you to see how and why the future perfect is used. So, first, the wedding is planned for the 26th of June. Hopefully, we'll have moved house by then. So in this case, we're not focusing on the action of moving house, but we want to be living in our new house when the wedding happens on the 26th of June. So we're focusing on the specified time, and then we're focusing on the result of an action which happens at an unspecified time between now and the 26th of June. Number 2. Will you have cleaned the kitchen when I get home? My wife might say this to me. She might call me and say, I'm coming home in half an hour. Will you have cleaned the kitchen by then? She doesn't care when I do it or how I do it. She just cares about the result, which is the clean kitchen, which will be in the future when she gets home. Sentence 3. When you take your driving test, you'll be more confident because you'll have had lots of practice. So I might say this to someone who's just learning to drive now and maybe doesn't feel very confident right now. But I'm saying in the future, you will be confident because you will have had lots of practice. That practice is happening between now and the future time when my friend takes their driving test. Example number 4. We'll be tired after the journey because we won't have slept for 20 hours. In this case, again, we're focusing on a time in the future, which is after the journey, and we're focusing on a result of an action, which is we're being tired. We are tired. We will be tired. And the reason for that is we won't have slept. So the action here of not sleeping will be in the past at that time. Right now, it's still in the future, but we're focusing on that future time after the journey when the not sleeping will be in the past. Example number 5. We won't want to have a big meal at 4 p.m. because we'll have just eaten lunch. Again, we're focusing on the result of the action. So the action here, eating lunch, is happening before the specified time in the future, 4 p.m. So we're focusing again on the result of the action, which is that we won't want to have a big meal. We will not be hungry because we'll have just eaten lunch. And the last example, next month I'll have lived in the UK for 5 years. So this one's talking about progress. As you live in the UK, you get more and more experience of living in the UK. So in this sentence, I'm talking about having 5 years experience in the country. However, that situation of having lived here for 5 years is not true now, but it will be in the future, next month. So by next month, I will have lived here 5 years. Okay, I hope that was helpful. and I hope you now have a better understanding of the future perfect tense. But please, if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and also put in the comments if you have any requests for other videos in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.